Hello everyone and welcome to Brother Earth Healing. So nice to have you back. We're going to be doing our end of June reading for air signs today. Just a little bit of a review and checking in on what's going on after a pretty crazy month, I'd say. I wanted to thank everybody for all the support. It's been really amazing since we started this little channel on YouTube this month. Yeah, it's been amazing to speak to some of you guys that have reached out, and yeah, I just have a lot of gratitude for all the support. So thank you so much for that. And yeah, it would be appreciated. Some continued support would be appreciated. So if you guys want to throw a like on the video, if you're finding this to be useful and helpful, and sharing it around also with folks that you might feel it might be good for, might resonate with. Yeah, just feel free to reach out and say hi too. I always love just chatting. Yeah, meeting everyone, our big world community. So I'm gonna kind of just get started. I just wanted to just recap about how I read. I do read intuitively, so and I'll be showing cards through the reading. So if it's not exactly maybe traditionally, what you might think of as associated with that card, like what I'm sharing, it's because I'm doing it intuitively and I'm tapping into to the energy with everyone. So yeah, feel free to just kind of take what resonates. Yeah, there might be messages that are for you in this reading, maybe not the whole picture. So feel free to tune into the other signs, the other sign videos later this week, and you might get another little piece of the puzzle there. Yeah, so let's just start with a little bit of opening gratitude, opening prayers. Let's actually just start by taking a nice big breath or two together, just settling in. Putting down whatever preoccupations we have, settling the mind, really opening to receive what we need to receive here today. So I'd like to give thanks and gratitude to all of our teachers, guides, to our ancestry, both of our blood ancestry as well as our spiritual ancestry. And just recognizing all of the ways that we've been supported, all of the paths that have been paved for us. So much gratitude, so much gratitude. Thank you, thank you. I'd like to ask for support and offering very clear messages of support and healing for those tuning in, and maybe a little bit for me too, here and there. Thank you, thank you. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm very excited. This is our returning this week to reading with you guys. I was tuning in a little bit before. I did a little sit, tapping into what's going on with air signs, quality of air. I felt the need to just start grabbing cards, so I think that's a good indicator to just get started. Okay. So we're going to ask for a little bit of support for yeah, I don't remember everything that came out last in our last reading, but I remember it being very very split, very yeah, quite ungrounded. Okay, so I'm getting okay, so I'm definitely getting that there's been movement towards more clarity this month. I remember reading as a little with our forecast at the beginning of June, that there was definitely like this forward momentum, but like it wasn't guided, like it wasn't mindful and intentional. You know, it was quite like quite hasty and quite like propelled by emotions coming up. So it was kind of being, this action was being expressed in kind of like a in sort of like a, yeah, like an undirected way. Misdirected is also what I'm hearing. So that quite clearly, I think, like represents this sort of quality. I'm getting, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely getting like split. But what I'm getting is like, there's this recognition happening of like, there are many ways to do things. There's many ways to act that is positive. There's many ways to go about addressing the issues that come up in our life and in our world. I'm very much getting this an awareness among air signs, or among this energy, among this group, like that there's a very clear awareness of what's going on. I think that this is kind of like the intellectual quality of the air sign, you know, representing like keen intellect. So like really being able to dissect and see clearly like the situation in one sense. But I feel like the action part is what folks were having a very hard time with. And so I see that, I feel like there's this real clear now seeing of, okay, there's more than one way, you know, there's more than one way. And the way that we have been doing it in the past is not working, and it's flawed, is what I'm seeing. Okay. And I think that there's some disappointment. I feel disappointment. I feel like was really clear. I feel like there were folks that were really feeling like they were on the right side, or really like that they were really in their action, they were really making the changes. And I think that there's been this clarity of seeing that, oh no, maybe not, you know, maybe not. I think, and also what I was getting across the board in the readings earlier this month was that there was a lot of separation and between people and organizations, like leaving organizations, leaving groups, like not feeling resonant anymore, which actually happened to me in a big way too. But then also finding other connections that feel more maybe wholesome, more more like rich and more connected along the same path, right? So let me see, let me read a little bit. I feel like for many that hasn't happened, as that maybe is still some, like you're in this kind of limbo a little bit, or like kind of in this middle passage. I wouldn't say limbo. I would say there's this like passage, right? So you're still like, you've kind of like left, it's almost like, you know, you left the village where you grew up, like you left the roots, you know, whatever organization or group. Or maybe possibly, I think also like this, you've left maybe this way of seeing things that has been foundational for you, or has been instilled in you. And so like you've left, right? And so I see that happening, like this movement, okay? And now you're like on that road, And I'm also picking up on, and also what has been happening with me a lot, especially this past weekend, which was just nuts, in a great way, was that there's like a lot of signs, very clear signs, where you know, okay, yeah, this is right. Signs giving faith, giving hope to the situation. And you can, and like I said earlier, like you can interpret this how it resonates. So while for me, I feel like in a very collective way, what I'm picking up on is the situation with, you know, people recognizing like, you know, systemic racism and injustice and everything like that, and this movement that's growing, you know, towards that, you know, in that direction, for those causes. But you can also, you know, relate how it resonates, you know, in whatever situation. So just like I said, just take it how it comes to you, and with what makes sense for you. Okay. I feel like for many also, there's a real feeling of relief, like really having like let go and let go of things that haven't served you. And I feel like there's all this space, right, to be filled. And I think that for many, there's an inevitable like coming into yourself, coming into your own this freedom that comes from that space, but also like filling it with things that are nurturing for you. And I think that also for many, I think that might happen naturally. And I think that for others that maybe have a tendency to, when we kind of have like a little bit of space, it might feel like empty. It might feel in like a way that isn't so positive. And I think the advice there is really to really surround yourself and really go towards those things that really fill you up, really nurture you. I'm feeling like nature is a really big part of that connection for everyone. And I'm feeling mother figures, and also, like women. Like for men, especially that are tuning in, I'm feeling like really developing, like, and going, and like spending time with women in your life, whether that's like friends or family or whatever. And there's another element in here about for those maybe possibly like leaving relationships, that are exiting relationships right now and like transitioning. I'm picking up on like this feeling of maybe wanting to like do right by the women in your life. That's what I'm feeling. And so there's this wanting to explore and really like understand more clearly. I'm going to pull a couple more cards for that particular situation. And for those that are just, feeling like this real need to connect with the women in your life. Wow. All 3 cards. Check it out. We got Queen of Pentacles here. Very strong. Okay. 3 of Cups. Oh, women. 9 of Cups. For sure. Oh my god, like amazing feminine energy, like beautiful feminine energy here. Really beautiful. 3 of Cups here, I'm really feeling strongly like, that's exactly it. Like really like developing this brotherhood, sisterhood, brother-sister relationship with friends in your life. Like really, like I'm getting also like there's like this wanting to look after the women in your life, like really, and support them, or like have them like feel supported, like they so that they know that you're there for them. That's really beautiful. I think that's something we should all be striving to do, right now. And on both ends, I think, this developing relationships that are deeper, that are more, that really feel like siblinghood, which is something that's been coming to me a lot. Siblings. Okay. Let me finish up. What is there anything else for that situation? No. Okay. So that's it. That's beautiful. I really, really love that. Okay. So I'm picking up on something else now. I'm feeling that there's a situation or somebody who feels like a little bit left out, like feminine, a feminine energy that feels left out, looking on things maybe possibly in the past, potentially, and feels like, oh, I don't have that anymore. I don't have that support, that friendship, that group, whatever it is. I think that there's a lack of recognition for some of their own beauty, their own, like, yeah, I'm really picking that up strongly from this Queen of Pentacles. Like, this is like one of my favorite cards in this deck. Yeah, I really love this. And this is the Herbal Tarot. I don't have the thing on me, but if you're interested, just comment and I'll send it to you. But here's the back, so you can see the back. Yeah, I'm feeling, like I said, like there's this lack of recognition of the beauty in and around this person. I feel like it's a very majestic, yeah, like very like quite solid, has done their work, has done a lot of their work, and has been rewarded for it. Like, is in a, I think it's, okay, I think they mean it, like it's like in a good place because of that. And I think that's part of this kind of questioning, this kind of sadness coming from. It's like, okay, I've done this. Like, why am I not, where are the friends? Where are my siblings? Kind of feeling almost, right? Like, I thought that's what we had or something like that. And I feel like the message is for this person, like, don't worry, like, really, this isn't don't look at this in that way. Like, see this in a different way, because what has been taken is like for good reason. It's to support you. And I've certainly gone through my own, phases personally of like going, like kind of not being as close to certain people in my life, which has made me really feel quite sad and lonely at times. But I definitely see how it has been important in certain ways with certain people, with certain groups, to have distance, and not necessarily to like just completely cut people off all the time, but to like create space, right? Like space to not only do your own internal work, but like to also allow other things to come in, to occupy that space. If we're too kind of full, you know what I mean? If there's no space, there's no room for other things to come in. And I think that in this case, and in certain cases, there's a subconscious pattern of doing that, of not allowing space in your life. And I think it's connected to like a fear, like a grasping, a holding on to what is there, even if it's not the best for you. I'm getting that pretty strongly for more than one person, I feel. But yeah, have no fear. Have no fear. Yeah. And I'm really feeling like maybe you asked for, like, something that you've asked for, something that you have been seeking. Yeah. Like there's this space created now because you have an intention or an aspiration of wanting more for yourself, wanting something better for yourself is what I'm feeling. And that is what is happening. So like see with a different lens, or take the lens that you have off to see clearly. Okay. Yeah, don't worry. I really love this energy. I really do. This person, or whoever this maybe small group is of people maybe experiencing something like that or something similar, it feels very, very sweet, very, very sweet. And I think that that's part of that too. Like, for those of us that are maybe have a little bit more water in our chart, or just tend to be a little bit more emotional, a little bit more, it's such a sweet quality to be so in tune, and even for myself, I'm a Scorpio sun, and I have like a bunch of Scorpio in my chart, and I have to like really be grounded in my practice, as to not lose myself in the emotion that, drifting far out into that, and losing my grounding and my clarity, to see the situation clearly. And so I think that this is a lesson also coming from this situation for this person or for this group. Yeah, I love this card. I always feel like, oh, this is like my future wife. Like, this is my future like life partner. Like, that's the vibe I get from this card. Just very sweet. And yeah, I mean, I think it's like, Pentacles that came out as well, like Queen of Pentacles. I think that's more of a suggestion. I think that's more of like a, like when I was ordained as a monk in Thich Nhat Hanh's tradition, the Plum Village tradition. And when they give us our names, our monastic names, a lot of times that is to reflect, it's a name that like reflects who we are or our own aspirations. But many times as well, we are given names that reflect like what the community sees us to grow into, as well. And I think that very much this is representing that too. Like while you might be an air sun sign or whatever, have a lot of air or whatever in your chart, I think like with this coming out, Queen of Pentacles, I think that is kind of the idea, like harness that earthy energy, that grounded, you can be nurturing in a way that's where you're not a doormat, is what I heard. You're not a doormat. You're not taking on people's stuff that's not yours to, like that's not your work, that's their work kind of thing. I'm getting a lot coming through for this situation. Okay. I think I'm going to move on so that we could have some other things come out for others. But that was really cool. Awesome. Let's do this again. So I think we definitely did get some review points come through. Just to ask if there's any other groups that we can tune into, any other folks that might be watching this, can offer some messages for support for their healing, kind of expanding. Anything for the collective potentially. Okay. So for those of our givers out there, those that really resonate with wanting to be generous and serve as well as advocate, I heard don't give it all away. What does that mean? Okay, so I'm feeling like in terms of relationships that feel a little upside down right now. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, although I am getting, that was the first thing I felt. There's a lot, I think that there's just a lot of internal work to be done. Yeah, I'm reminded like of, like Ram Dass, says one of my favorite things that he shares, one of my favorite teachings of his is like, this coming back to recognize that, we can't like offer others what we don't, currently possess. Like we can't offer somebody else, peace if we aren't peaceful in ourselves, or happiness. We can't offer somebody else happiness, or if that's not alive in us, right? So don't give it all away. So I think it's like what maybe little you feel you do have now, it's like nobody is entitled to that, if that makes sense. Like, and nobody should want to take from you when you clearly need to, like when you clearly are not in a position to give as much, or to give. I'm feeling that the partner, if there's a partner involved or a friend or whatever, is just very unaware of what is going on. And that might be too lack of communication on your part, or the roles could be reversed also. I feel like the situation is just really causing a lot of feeling very stuck for both. So this was a little bit hard to read here. Let me see. Let me ask for a little bit more clarity. So yeah, the person you might be dealing with might be like a fire sign, and you like an air sign, or vice versa, or something like that. I'm getting that for the most part, that both of you are quite solid, particularly like in your own domains, is what I'm really feeling. And I feel like there are a lot of compliments. I feel like there's a lot of compliments and mirroring. Yeah, and for some, I feel like it absolutely is something that like truly does make both of you happy. And I feel like there's a need for me to share like that. I feel for some of you, like there's not going to be any like, like leaving when the going gets tough. Like I really do feel like there's a sense of like, what's the word? Like, that you belong, that you work well, or there's a sense of like, yeah, like real, like teamwork, like real, like, yeah. Okay. And so is there any way that we could support each other, or any way, any kind of support we can? Okay, so I feel like there's there's like a lack of, I think the communication is a thing. I think that's a big thing. I think that there's just, like you can't see, like you can't know what you don't know, is what I feel, and so I think that there's like, there's that aspect of it. Okay, and I think that this is a natural part of the cycle of the relationship. And again, it doesn't have to be romantic. That's just what I'm picking up on strongly. So that might be for one person, or maybe the majority, or whatever. Okay. I feel like there's a fear of communicating something. I feel like this is a really big thing. I feel like this is a really big step for whoever this is, for this person. And there's fear there. But I feel like the lack of communication, or the lack of like expression and honesty, is really like the something that's kept that person in that, yeah, kind of kept that person locked up for quite a while. It's a long-term issue. And I think that should be expressed like that, it's not just what's going on here, it's long-term that wants to come out. But yeah, I feel like it's a natural cycle. Learning, yeah, big learning. I feel like also like this is culminated over this past month is what I feel, or possibly a little longer than that. Yeah, and it's kind of getting to the point where it's just kind of like a big old weight, I guess in both ways. Like it's a weight, physical weight, but it's also kind of like a waiting, right? It's like a wait. It's like a long wait, Oh man, that's one of the things that I don't like the most in relationships is like, it just causes so many problems. It's like I know, it can be hard, but like just it's so much harder when you wait and put so much distance. Yeah. So I'm gonna pull some cards. I think we're getting pretty close to the end. I'm actually gonna pull a couple more and just see if there's anything else at the end of the... Okay, yeah, definitely. Okay. So, yeah, specifically for the end of this month, like as a reflection, I think we went over quite a bit that was kind of learned is going on. So we actually have two bottom of the deck cards here. Yeah, again, I think I think in many ways, like not just in relationships, I think what was just shared, I think what was just shared right now had a lot to do with folks, besides those in romantic relationships. Waiting. And I think what I'm picking up on too is like this collective waiting, right? Like waiting for something to happen, waiting to act on something important, with what's going on. Sometimes like you just have to make the time to organize yourself and your community and your friends, and like, just make the time to commit and devote yourself to, supporting whatever causes you want to support. And, I think for some, it's taken quite a while to get to the point where you feel confident to do that. But I certainly feel like that's happened. I feel like that point is here and potentially past. Okay. And I feel like for many, yeah, like that's also true in terms of those that are maybe seeking relationships or something like that. Like this lack of feeling solid, lack of feeling like, I think what wants to come out is that, you like, in a way, kind of be like, recognize the work that you've done, to be where you are and to be in the solid position that you are, and know that you have like a lot to offer, and that the universe, has a way of bringing things into your life, that are for your betterment, for your highest good, like for your highest learning and evolution, and it's the same way with relationships. I think like I tend not to go towards reading, like doing like romance readings, because that's just not my style. I think there's much more important things to be talking about, especially now. But I do feel like this is what's just coming out naturally. Because a lot of people like just crave that so much, and I think it comes from a place of feeling empty and alone, as opposed to a place of like feeling like, oh, okay, I'm solid. Like, I want to share this with somebody, in the same way that you would want to share that with like a friend, share good times and, have the end connection, as opposed to filling something that you don't have in your life. You know what I mean? And so I think this is a much more healthy way to approach it. And I think that's for everyone to kind of like really look at in themselves. Like, what am I really seeking and why? It's certainly something I've had to work on a lot with, especially because I do have so much like, especially like the Scorpio in my chart is like, yeah, for sure. But So I totally understand. And I do private readings if you guys want to go a little bit deeper into your thing. I'm very, very good. I'm actually a channel. I'm a medium. So I'm like super duper connected. And I work with a lot of people. I'm super, super happy to work with you. So I'm picking up for this end of the month, like just a recap or summary. I think a lot of people are not ready or refusing to act in a positive, enlightened, evolved way. I feel like we should do our best not to judge people, even those that like we feel like have the resources or this and that. Okay. I think there's a real need to come back to ourselves and recognize our role, what we are doing, what we're not doing, how aware are we, you know, because while like it's really important that we really rally around racial issues right now, and there's so many other things, you know, and we all need to address what we resonate with, you know, where we feel like we can do the most good with what we have and who we are, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that we should, like, you know, not support something because we're somewhere else. I'm just saying, like, you know, we all have our place, you know, we all have our role. Okay. And so, like, entering that stream, really connecting with those that you see are, like, really going in a good direction, in a positive, like, aware, like, mindful, you know, peaceful direction. And peaceful doesn't mean that we're not strong, you know, and firm. Non-violent. You know, it can be, you know, very strong and very, very alive, you know. So what I'm seeing, okay, so what I'm seeing here is a 7 of Wands, right? And I'm really reading this as more of like this really strong, I don't want to just sit here, is how I'm reading that. I really don't want to just sit here while I'm seeing so many important things happen. And it's coming from a very pure, good place, okay? And we're having strength come out. And this is, yeah, so this is kind of what I'm feeling is like, there is a lot of power in peace and non-violence, you know. It's an incredibly strong message when we're able to change, to make change, you know, in such a graceful way, you know, like moving like water, you know, carving the path, like, you know, like with grace, and with the understanding that, like, what's behind what we're doing, the energy that we come to it with, you know, that is the force behind our action, right, is what colors, you know, the outcome, is what, yeah, that is like, that's the color of the energy, you know, the what is expressed, you know, the effect. And I think that needs to be really recognized strongly right now. Like, that's a really big message for sure. And to go into this next month with that knowledge, with that wisdom, that what we, you know, where is our action derived, you know, and what effect does it have, you know, based on how we do it, you know. Yeah, I feel really positive about what a lot of people are doing. I feel like very positive about that message is getting across to many people in many ways. Like, people are really seeing the effects of certain actions, and, you know, seeing what is yielding good results and what is what's more destructive, you know. I'm very just, yeah, I mean, like, as kind of torn up as I am, like, you know, seeing so much, like, more, just being more exposed to, like, all the suffering, and, like, really doing my work as best as I can to, like, really relate and really, like, yeah, really touch the suffering and, like, see the suffering of others as my suffering, even if it's not something I'm experiencing directly. As somebody that does this kind of work and is very sensitive to energy, like, it really, there are times that where I've had experiences during fasting and other, you know, other things where I feel myself in somebody else's position. And sometimes it's trauma, you know, it's not always that way, you know. But sometimes, but that has happened. And I think that's definitely a gift to be able to tap in that directly, I guess. Because it really, it's like this opening of compassion. Like, if we don't understand what the suffering is, and we don't care to understand what the suffering is, there's no way for us to have that compassion, you know, to really enliven the compassion in us with the you know, because compassion also, I've heard it, like, you know, described, which I think is very accurate and very beautiful, is not just feeling empathy, but feeling empathy and understanding in a way that that makes us want to act. You know, it makes us want to really to act, right? Like love in action, like, you know, empathy in action, compassion in action. And so yeah, while it's been like completely heartbreaking, you know, to see, it's also, I feel, with what's been going on in many ways, you know, ecologically, you know, with so many things, I feel like the veil is just lifting like I haven't ever seen, you know, like in my very short life. Like, you know, the veil is just so thin between our normal, what we have maybe normally experience, or what maybe the majority normally experiences, you know, with like all of our ways that we numb ourselves with TV and this and that and distraction and work and whatever. I'm feeling that that's just becoming so much thinner, and for that I'm very grateful to whatever power it is that is supporting this, you know, as, you know, devastating as like everything has been to bring us to this point. I think it's important that we also see, we see the other side of that, and see and really have a sense of gratitude for where we are right now. Because right now I feel like we're so able to like the ground is very fertile, is what I keep feeling and saying in these kind of conversations. So I'm going to kind of cut it there, I think. Let's actually, because I have to pull some of these cards. I'll pull a couple just for support and guidance and whatnot. Okay, I'll do this real quick. I'm getting the same cards over and over from this deck. It's like, wow. Okay. Enjoy growth and reap rewards. I'm just going to kind of let you guys, you know, take a look and just kind of see what comes up for you. You can feel free to pause it if you want to keep looking and just kind of like go deeper. Okay. So she-wolf, unleash the wild within. There's a little bit of homework. Again, feel free to just pause it. And it can be a little bit of homework, like, or a little bit of practice for you, like just looking into it, like breathing, clearing the mind, allowing the message to come in, whatever it is for you, asking for it, asking, what is this trying to tell me? How is this trying to support me? What is the message that is for me? An elder, move beyond ancestral patterns. I think we definitely talked about quite a bit of patterning today. So thank you again. I hope you guys had a really nice solstice, summer solstice. We had an amazing solstice here in in the Monterey Bay. We were in Big Sur last weekend, or this past weekend, and just had an amazing time playing music and chanting, and had some kirtan and pretty much all night. And some really beautiful, mindful, peaceful demonstrations in San Francisco. If any of you are interested, feel free to reach out to me, because we're also doing it again this coming weekend, last weekend of June. So thank you so much again. And yeah, I really appreciate all the support. And if you guys could continue the support, it'd be just like really amazing and really beautiful. You know, just by sharing and liking the YouTube video, and feel free to like leave some comments, and oh, and if you could actually like subscribe to the channel, that would also like really help me too. And yeah, I'm totally here to support you. Feel free to reach out if you need anything. I do healing work. I've been doing a lot of distance work, obviously, now, and yeah, I can like read for you privately also, and I'm pretty fair with my pricing. So yeah, thank you again so much, and I do hope this was helpful. Many blessings to you.